the world has ever seen, where Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un are all together. And the significance of this gathering cannot be understated. Today, we witness China put on the largest military parade in their history. All major roads were closed, schools were shut down, and they even had weeks of midnight rehearsals and security preparations to make sure that today went off without a hitch. One by one, world leaders started arriving, most of which are the names that you would expect, like Kim, Putin, etc. In fact, for good old Kim, it took him 20 hours just to get to China, because he got there on his infamous slow armored bulletproof train, traveling between only 45 and 80 kilometers an hour. However, also attending were world leaders that in the past few decades they lent more to the West, like Turkey, Egypt, and Vietnam. In fact, no Western leaders attended apart from two. We're looking at you, Serbia and Slovakia. And when Donald Trump saw that Putin, Kim, and Xi were having a 2.5-hour private closed-door meeting, he tweeted this: "May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States." Now, it wasn't just what they spoke about that will be of concern of Western leaders watching. It'll also be the new weapons that China unveiled. These included new powerful laser weapons capable of taking out swarms of drones, burning electronics, or even blinding pilots, new nuclear ballistic missiles with a range capable of striking U.S. mainland, giant underwater unmanned drones, and also a number of weapons which display China's heavy investment in the future of warfare, including drones, smart tanks, AI-assisted weaponry, and of course, even robot dogs. In fact, today on Chinese social media, all of the top searches were about the parade and its weapons, including the fourth one talking about their new ICBMs having the striking range that covers the entire world. But for Xi Jinping, what means more than showing off new weaponry is showing off a new world order, one that challenges the West and its allies, but also one where China is positioned right in the center. In fact, in Xi's speech overlooking the military parade, he said the rise of the Chinese nation is unstoppable. Strength may prevail for a time, but over the long arc of history, it's reason that wins. So the question is Donald Trump's foreign policy pushing these countries together to strengthen their relations? Or was what we saw today inevitable and would have happened no matter who was in office?
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham, Dash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the Hebrew Israelites. So this brother Araki, and I wanted to show that video that the elder had put up as a short on his YouTube page, and you see there's many scriptures that come to mind. Okay, let's begin with Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Okay, so there are different ages. Okay, now is the age of Esau's system coming to an end by way of Third World War. Okay, so let's jump to verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate. You can see, it's not that love is in the air, but hate is in the air in these times. These times are hostile. Okay? Just, downright hostile, man. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So you can definitely see right now is not a time of peace. So what time is it? It's a time of war. Okay? Then another scripture I want to read. Going into these, heathen raging. They think that they are next up. China thinks that they, they got next. Psalms 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Okay, so they are thinking, you know, the BRICS countries, yeah, we're gonna be next. We're gonna take America out of its position, and you know, we're gonna be a serious world power, which they are heavily mistaken. Okay, it's not gonna happen. The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers they counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cause from us. So, you know, they don't even, you know, try to have us Israelites any part of, you know, rulership of this earth. But this why it's written also in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. It's talking about the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond that all that they looked for. So when we're gonna get beamed up and when we're gonna get powered up, the heathen, they're gonna be discombobulated. Let's let's look that word up, man. They are going to be utterly discombobulated. They're gonna see, you know, Jake and Northern Kingdom ruling, discombobulated. This is how they're gonna be. They're gonna be characterized by confusion or disorder. He was discombobulated, utterly confused as to what had happened. But you've also probably noticed that oversleeping can make you feel discombobulated. Yeah, you know, sometimes if you sleep too little, like 4 hours, yeah, the next day, 3-4 hours, you know, the next day you're gonna be just tired, just downright tired. And you're gonna have a hard time concentrating, all of that. I think sweet spot is something like 7 to 8 hours of good sleep. But then if you sleep a lot also, 11-12 hours or more, you can notice that you feel a little bit stunned, okay? At least after waking up, you know, the first couple of hours, you damn, I slept that much, and you know, it takes a little time to get, you know, charge your batteries, so to speak, and to be up and running, you know, to set up, okay? It says Detroit's offensive line was discombobulated mess of failing health and poor performance last year. Okay. They just forced me to watch this fucking ad. Sulla chiapota. So, these different words as synonyms: addle, baffle, bamboozle, beat, befog, befuddle, bemuse, bewilder, buffalo. Okay, confuse, confound, confuse, disorient. Mystify, perplex. Okay, so this is how the heathen gonna be when they see the 12 tribes getting beamed up and powered up. Okay, Psalms 2:4, he that is in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai shall have them in derision. Okay, let's look that word up. Derision. The state of ridicule or scorn to show contempt. A state of being laughed at or ridiculed. A state of being derided, an object of ridicule or scorn. Laughingstock, mockery, sport. So, the heathen, they, you know, here it is, they thought that they're gonna be the next, you know, world power. Russia, China, they all think in this way. You know, even the Arabs, you know, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they think they are the next up. Okay, Indians, the Elamites, the East Indians, they also think so. So all of these heathen, they're gonna be had in derision. Okay, it's gonna be hilarious thing that they even thought they could be above the Israelites. Verse 5, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. So their future is not so bright. Okay, their future is Revelation 13 and 10, you know, captivity. Verse 6, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. You see? So as Israelites, we're going to be on top. I will declare the decree the Lord Yahweh has said unto me, Tower, my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. You see? So, we're gonna rule over the heathen, man. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. And this is the same that is written also in Revelation 2, chapter 25 on down. Okay? We're going to be on top over the heathen. Okay? But yeah, you're going to see these world powers, you know, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. They're going to come up together for the Third World War. They're going to be ready to shoot missiles at Babylon. Okay? So-called America. So I hope doing this video was edifying. Salakia for all the coughing and, you know. So on to the next one. Shalom.